Hello, I'm Todd Hall, President and CEO of TrueLiant. As we mark our 70th anniversary in 2022, we reflect on a rich history that would not be possible without the support of the great city of Winston-Salem. From our humble beginnings in 1952 to the present, where we will soon serve over 300,000 members, hire our 1,000th employee, and exceed $4 billion in assets, to a future poised for continued growth. I am proud of the work we are doing together. TrueLiant is grateful for and remains committed to Winston-Salem and all of Forsyth County.
Welcome to the Greater Conversations podcast. I'm Deetra Miller, the Director of Member Relations and Engagement at Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. We'll use this platform to showcase our local businesses, our community, and their stories. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm super excited to introduce to you today a couple of people that you may know, but I'm having the privilege of meeting for the first time today. I'm so excited about it. We have from Solutions for Independence, Mark Steele, who's the Executive Director there, and Adrian Boone, who is the Director of Operations for Solutions for Independence. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, I'm so excited to get into this conversation. So, Mark, let's just start with you. I want everyone to know what Solutions for Independence is.
All right, in a nutshell, we're a disability advocacy organization. But to get more into the little weeds on it, we're a federally funded Center for Independent Living. And that means something in our world. As a Center for Independent Living, it dictates some of the services that we do, the areas that we cover. So that in being a Center for Independent Living, we serve all people with disabilities and all ages. And our main focus is to assist people with disabilities to live as independently as they choose.
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
In a nutshell, that's all we do.
I love it. Now, let's talk a little bit about your own story and how you got connected to this.
I don't know if we have enough time to get into all that. But yes, I experienced a spinal cord injury at the age of 18. I was paralyzed from my chest level down, the cervical 5 level for details. So at that point in my life, most of us at 18 don't know what we want to do with our life anyway. So from that point, I tried to create a life, from my point of view, sitting in a wheelchair. That led me into the counseling field, which led me into a job with state government for 20-some years.
Wow.
And then I got smart and went to the nonprofit world, and I've been with Solutions for Independence since 2014. I had a little gap in employment due to some health reasons in 2018. Was invited back in 2020, brought Adrian on board with me, and we've been building Solutions for Independence to where it is today since October 2020.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. Now, Adrian,
Yes.
We just heard how you were brought in. What attracted you to be a part of this organization?
Well, first of all, I love giving back to people. I love the disability community. I went undiagnosed myself for many years with mental health issues. And once I learned the disability community, it was one of the most accepting and welcoming communities I had ever been in contact with.
Wow.
So just being embraced by that community the way I was, I always wanted to be able to give back and provide services for people just to help them out of the weeds. Like some people may have had the same issues as myself, but just didn't recognize it or realize it because, to be honest, like in the African-American community, to speak of mental health or anything of that nature is almost taboo, right? So when I learned these things about myself, I want to make it common so people understand that it's not taboo. We all go through things in life, and sometimes you need someone outside of yourself to help you filter through that information.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, Mark, in regard to some of the solutions you have for folks that want to live independently, what do you offer?
That is a loaded question because everything that we offer to someone that contacts us is based on what their needs are.
Okay.
Everything we do is individualized. I mean, we do get a lot of phone calls regarding housing and issues regarding to home modifications, some of those things that are more common. And we do try to address those. We do address those needs with the individuals. And that's probably some of the things that we're, I guess, known for in the community. So everything that comes to us is dictated by what that consumer's needs are. and how they want to live independently. So we connect them to the resources that allow them to live as independently as they want.
Do you find that it has become easier over the years because you've been working with people since your incident when you were 18 years old? Has it become easier over the years for people to open up to say, yes, I want to live independently and I need your help in order to actually live independently? Or is it just starting to open up a little bit because maybe the resources weren't there? Is that another loaded question?
No, we're looking at each other and smiling because Mark and I comment in the office all the time that like these catchy phrases like now like inclusivity and all these things are now are like so commonplace that it actually makes things a little bit more fluid for us. As before, when people were with disabilities were almost ostracized, now everything is about inclusivity. So it's a little easier now because it's like these things are more commonly spoke about now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that I'm thinking of a friend of mine who has a nephew that has a disability. And sometimes, it may be a little difficult for her to say, okay, I'm going to, let him do his thing, which is she's going to go to work and he's going to stay home.
Right.
Or she and her husband are going to go on a trip and he's going to stay home by himself for a few days and he'll be able to get a pre-made meal out of the freezer and put it in the microwave, that kind of thing. So are those the types of things that you help to teach? Do you teach independent living or do you... Yeah, I know it's a loaded question.
That's one of our core services that we're mandated to do, exactly what you said. You said, do we teach independent living? Yes, we teach those, we call them independent living skills. And we teach those skills to anyone that may need them. And oftentimes, it may be a parent that calls and they may not know what the exact need is. They just know that their child or their family member needs some assistance and wants to be more independent. And we can take it from there and work with that individual to break it down to smaller baby steps, smaller goals to help them address those things, such as cooking. I mean, if you can pull something out of the microwave, out of the refrigerator or freezer, put it in a microwave, you're a step ahead of a lot of consumers that we do meet that don't even have that. So, and then if you want to go beyond that and maybe start doing some small prep, like heating up soup or toasting a sandwich, before you get into actually doing a full meal and cooking in your kitchen, we can work with people on building those independent living skills that it takes to live independently.
That's awesome. Have you found that it's easier to work with people that may have had disabilities all their lives rather than someone that may have recently become disabled? For example, maybe someone had a stroke or maybe someone was in a car accident later in life. Is it easier to deal with one client than the other? I'm just curious.
I think it's individualized.
I would say.
I think
Yes.
we see some individuals that have a incident occur in their life and they're good to go. They just need dusting off and pointing in the right direction. We have some individuals that have developmental disabilities and they've really never taken time to live independently or try to learn to live independently or have never come to grips and accepted their disability. And that's a big challenge. You have to be able to understand where you are in your life, what your limitations are, what you can do well, these functional limitations. And that's another service that we offer individuals, try to help figure out what do you do well, what do you not do well, where's your passion, helping people identify that will help them move forward to live a more independent lifestyle.
I'm curious to know, and you may have some numbers for us, the percentage of folks in Winston-Salem or Forsyth County that are dealing with a disability or a differently abled ability that causes them to need solutions for independence.
Well, I would say that we serve the Forsyth County and Winston-Salem area really well. one thing that we've been actively doing, we established a 3-year business plan. And part of that 3-year business plan was for us to reach out to our rural counties because we serve Davie, Davidson, Forsyth, Surry, Stokes, and Yadkin Counties.
Wow,
So
okay.
Forsyth County, we get a lot of influx. A lot of people come to our office for different needs, but not as much as in the rural counties. And that's something we've been actively trying to do is have our footprint recognized more in those counties.
How does that work? Because you mentioned rural.
Mm-hmm.
Are there ways for them to actually come to you here, or do you go to them there? How does that work?
We use a term that we say consumer controlled, and so the clients that we work with, the people that we work with, we call them consumers because they basically are allowed to consume whatever services they want from the agency. It is not us dictating to them like this outline program of what we feel that they may want or need. Right? Because this is an individual, this is a person who has their own passions and desires, and we like to hear from them so that way we can better understand how to address their needs. And with that being said, we travel to wherever the consumer is comfortable, so we understand that some of our population may not be as accepting to welcome someone in their home, so we will meet them at a Starbucks or a Panera or wherever is comfortable for them.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, our staff's set up to work. They can work fully in the office. They can work in Surry County. They can work in their car. They've got the tools to be able to meet the consumer where that consumer needs to be met. But to your point about the populations and what I've learned over the years is that on about any population that you pull, you can estimate probably pretty closely anywhere between 15 to 20% of that population anywhere in the world is going to have a disability of some sort.
Wow.
So rule of thumb, we typically use about 20% is our
Wow.
number that guides us.
Wow.
And that's pretty true in about
Yes.
everything that we do. Maybe a little higher, 22%, 23%, maybe a little lower, 17%.
Okay.
But-
Well, in regard to staff, because this sounds like something that you need a lot of folks out there helping, right? So how large is your staff, or do you also have a large volunteer base?
Oh, that's very timely.
It was.
Our staff, we have 5 full-time and 1 part-time individual.
Wow.
So getting to these rural counties, each of our staff has been assigned a county. So that's, they go out and they try to meet the needs in these counties. But it's taxing. There's a big need out there. But volunteers, yes, we are always open for volunteers. We've got a large event that we're going to have this fall in October that we really need to recruit a lot of volunteers for.
Talk about this event.
Yes, let's do. Yes. We are this October 14th. Friday was our big launch of the announcement for this. It's called Marty Hartman's Roll, Run, Walk 5K Race to Independence.
Okay.
It's a 5K we're going to
Say
put
that
on.
one more time.
Marty Hartman's Roll, Run, Walk 5K Race to Independence.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And a little
Someone's been
backstory.
practicing.
Marty Hartman was a couple years ago during COVID. We were getting phone calls from family members and consumers. My child's here. What do I do with my child?
Right.
Do you have any events? And so we started doing adaptive sports expos to introduce the community to adaptive sports. We were doing hand cycling and
Archery.
wheelchair basketball,
Yes.
Wow.
tennis, and we started doing clinics and expos around our area. It started taking off. We had a lot of individuals
Yes.
really sign up for it. And so during the week, every Tuesday night, we have adaptive tennis that people can come and take tennis lessons. Practice more is what it's called. And then on Thursdays, we do adaptive basketball or wheelchair basketball.
And with the wheelchair basketball, it's also like life lessons being taught with the basketball lessons.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So Marty was very involved with our adaptive sports programs. He was always encouraging us. Marty was born. He was someone that was born with a disability. He had spina bifida, but he had always been active, wheelchair basketball, doing things, and he was pushing us to do a 5K. Y'all, I want to do a 5K. Y'all need to do a 5. So we tried we did a 5K. I shouldn't say we tried. Last October, just small turnout, but Marty came and he pushed the whole thing in his manual wheelchair. And then he was encouraged, y'all got to do another one because I want to do these again. Well, unfortunately, Marty passed away suddenly in November. We were still in the process of talking about doing a 5K, and then as soon as this happened to Marty, we got over our grieving, we realized that we got to name it after Marty.
Right.
And so that's where it came from. So we're doing Marty Hartman's Roll, Run, Walk, 5K, Race to Independence in October. And so we're starting to push this out. Hopefully you listeners will start getting emails and seeing opportunity to sign up for volunteers and to donate and become a sponsor for the event.
That's fantastic. Okay. So where's the event going to take place?
It's going to be a JDL Fast Track, which is also in Winston-Salem.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
And for anyone that's not currently on your email list, how do they find out more about the 5K?
And go to our website, which is Solutions for Independent, Center for Independent Living, North Carolina. That's the name. We use an acronym, which is SICILNC.org.
Got it. Okay.
But if you Google Solutions for Independence, it'll also pop up our website.
That's
Yes,
perfect. And are you guys on social media as well?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So everyone listening, you can go to their website, SICILNC.org, or go to any of the socials. You'll be able to find Solutions for Independence, and also on the web, of course, and learn more about the 5K, learn more about what Solutions for Independence is doing, and to volunteer. And I'm guessing there might be an opportunity to donate as well?
Yes,
Yes.
there is.
Okay.
Yes. And we accept phone calls too.
Yes.
Ooh, phone calls.
336-767-7060.
Yes.
What about text messaging?
Text,
What?
yes.
Who calls
Anyway.
anymore?
we honestly try to make it as convenient for our consumer population as possible. And different
That's
people like to
fantastic.
communicate in different ways. So we accept texts, emails, phone calls, walk in the door, however you make your way there.
Smoke
Yeah.
signals.
There you go. Smoke signals, send a picture.
We don't do fax anymore. We will not do fax.
Yeah, no more faxing. I gotcha. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love the fact that you guys are going out to the rural areas to help
Yes.
out. And so these folks will be able to enjoy some of the things that the people here in
Yes.
Winston-Salem are enjoying as well. And the 5K, gosh, that sounds like so much fun. So much fun. What other opportunities do you have for volunteers to get involved?
Coming up in July of this year, it's every July. July 26th is the anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. It was passed in 1990. The Americans with Disabilities Act is like the Civil Rights Act for individuals with disabilities. It eliminates, supposedly, eliminates discrimination, levels the playing field for employment and access for individuals with disabilities. We're celebrating the 33rd year of the Americans with Disabilities Act. We're going to be participating. WISTA has the Accessible Festival up at the fairgrounds, and we will be participating in that and doing a activity
Yes.
to encourage and teach people about the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Wow.
Even though it's been around for 33 years, there's a whole generation and a half of people that have been born since then that may not understand that law and understand a lot of the history that went behind getting that law passed, and the people that it took to protest. You see curb cuts today, you see lifts on buses, and people think, oh, that's nice, but they weren't put there because people were nice. They were put there because there was a need.
That's right.
And it took protests, and it took people
Civil
advocating
disobedience. Yes.
and demanding equal access for this to be done. So we want to celebrate that. We know that we stand on the shoulders of those people that came before us, and we got to keep that momentum moving forward.
I love it. There's so many great things going on. Thank you for all your hard work and everything that you do. One thing that we didn't talk about, I don't think we talked about why you guys love Winston-Salem. And I think some of the things that you shared today, it just shows, at least to me, that we're working really hard to make sure that our folks that are living with disabilities have that equal access, can get around, do have the resources they need. But I'm curious to know, what do you love about Winston-Salem?
Me and Adrian were talking about this. I was born and raised in Winston-Salem. I went off to college, never thought I'd settle here, but I'm here. I've been here working in the community for 25 years. And I was talking to a gentleman who had moved here from another state, and we were talking about Winston-Salem, the great things about Winston-Salem. very family oriented. But they made the comment that Winston-Salem is not like a small city; it's like a big town. And I thought I like that, in that Winston it's not too big, it's not too small, and that we've noticed that if we need something, we need to contact someone in the city, for instance, that we don't get lost. We can still reach out and contact, and we'll get an answer back. It's manageable. I mean, it's very, you get the benefits of a lot of things that you see in a larger city, yet you get the quaintness of kind of a town. And that's how it feels to me. So, Adrian, you're not from here.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh,
and I lived in.
You just said Baltimore. I thought it was Baltimore.
I'll tell you this: when I'm talking to people that's not from Baltimore, I say Baltimore. But I actually say Baltimore all the time. That's the way we say it.
Yeah.
But I actually lived in Raleigh before I moved here. When I first moved here, it was November of 2020. And I'll be honest with you, when I got here, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Because it was like, it was still COVID. It was not a lot of life in the city. So I'm like, where's the pulse of the city? But I will say, thankfully, I started recognizing like last year when they had the African American Film Festival and like some of the events that were going on downtown. I'm a festival guy. I love live music and things of that nature. So being downtown in the Bailey Park area and seeing the music, and now on Fridays they show the movies outside. I like it. I like Winston-Salem, man. It's a really cool place, nice people. So I really appreciate it. I like it here.
Well, we are so glad that you have left Baltimore. Is that right?
Yes.
And that you're a part of Winston-Salem. And we're so glad that you're here with Solutions for Independence and everything that you're doing. Can you hear me now?
I can.
And I'd be remiss if we didn't mention that when we're talking about the people, the shoulders that we stand on, that our organization, Solutions for Independence, initially it was entitled The Adaptables.
Yes.
And they were founded in this community in 1992. It's just a cross-disability support group for people in the community. And just over the years, they've evolved into what they are now. And Solutions for Independence was a rebranding that took place in January 2020, prior to me and Adrian joining the organization.
Okay.
But just to get that out there, a lot of people may not know the name Solutions for Independence, but those that have been around would know about the Adaptables.
The Adaptables. I kind of like that name, too.
And that was a take. They founded in '92. It was shortly after the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, therefore the Adaptables.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, is there anything that we didn't talk about today that you would like to share with the listening audience?
Well, one thing I would like to say, I noticed one of the questions that you had sent, Mark, was like, what makes us different than other agencies?
Yes.
To me, it's very important that I let everyone know that as a Center for Independent Living, our staff is 51% of our staff has to have a significant disability, as well as 51% of our board. And it's designed that way so that you have individuals with disabilities who are the decision makers of the actual agency.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, so not only are we serving individuals with disabilities, we are managed and directed by individuals with disabilities.
That's the way it should be.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that. I love that.
There's a saying in our world that says, nothing about us without us.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. I'm putting that one in my phone so I don't forget that. Mark, Adrian, thank you so much for being here today. And for everyone listening, until next time. We know you enjoyed this podcast today, so join us for the next episode of Greater Conversations. By the way, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Also, be sure to visit our website at winstonsalem.com. The views and opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our sponsors, distributors, or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. or your toast.